our math video this week, we're going to be looking at averages, or you might have heard them called means. We did these a little bit before Christmas. You'd have done some Mrs. Shepherd as well. So average or the mean is what you'd expect usually from a set of data that you've came across. So average or mean, they are the keywords, average or mean. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how we find averages and means. You're going to get the chance to try a couple, and then we'll finish off. I'll show you some things you can do at home if you want to follow up with some little challenges. What's that? You want to go to the toilet? Yeah, just press pause just down here. Off you go and then come back. Anyway, so I'm going to give you some examples and then we'll have problems at the end. Okay, here's a multiple choice question to start us off. Look at the equation at the top. You can see 14 add 14 add 10 and 11 in brackets, and then it says divide by 4. Use your bid maths. Think what comes first. Brackets, indices, divisions, multiplication, addition, subtraction. Now the answer to this problem is one of the four I've given you. A, B, C or D. Have a think what it could be. Now I am going to tell you the answer in a moment, so if you're really thinking, press pause. The correct answer I was hoping you would find was B, 12.25. What I've actually done there is find an average, or sometimes we call it a mean. Now I'm sure you're all being very good boys and girls and never pestering for snacks and things to eat, unlike my children. You can see here on Monday we started with 17 snack requests, going to 24 and 19. Probably guessed by Thursday the cupboards were empty, we were ready to go shopping. Once they saw me come back from the shop my full bags, oh dear, it starts again. So I was wondering, what's the average snack request per day from my children? Well, here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to add all 5 of these numbers together. So I've got 7 add 4 add 9 add 6 add 9 for my unit. So 7 add 4 is 11, add 9 is 20, add 6 is 26, add 9 is 35. So it's 5 units, 3 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I've got 9 lots of 10, so I've got 95. Now that's 5 lots of data I've got. What I'm going to do now is take 95 and I'm going to divide it by 5. Now I do happen to know that 5 times 20 is 100, so I'm estimating 18 and 19 my answer here. Let's just double check. How many 5s go into 9? 1 remainder 4. How many 5s go into 45? 9. Oh, I was correct, my estimate. 19. So the average snack request is 19 per day. Greedy little things. Now here's a problem for you. Over the last 5 days I've been reading every single day. Here's how many pages I've read in my book each day. What's the average? Pause the video, take your time to work it out. Here's a second question for you. What's the average amount of cups of tea I've been drinking every day? Here's my data for tea drank over the last week. As you can see, one day I just couldn't be bothered getting up to put the kettle on. And the final question, which gets a bit nastier, what's the average amount of steps I'm taking on my daily walk each day? I've got 4 days worth of data here from the step counter on my phone. But what's the mean? Now I'm hoping you're going to be good here. You've already done the working out before you see the answers. Are you ready? When I added the 5 numbers together and divided by 5, my average amount of pages read was 129. And what about those cups of tea? What's my average? Well, that's a bit of a cheeky one, because there's 2 remainder 6. That's 6/7, and it's okay to express it as a fraction. If you're feeling really fancy, why don't you work out what that is as a decimal and put it in the comments? And finally, the steps on the daily walk. Hopefully I'll be a fitter, leaner Mr. Riley when you see me next time. What was the mean? Well, the mean was 6,212.50, because there was a remainder of 2. 2 out of 4 is 2 quarters, same as half, that's 0.50, which I suppose is half a step. What's that? Is that a hop? I don't know. Let's call it a hop. So there you have it. We've looked at averages and means. That's where you take your data that you've collected, you add it together, then you divide by how many pieces of data you actually had. That's how you find an average or a mean. They don't always actually exist, but it gives you an idea of what to expect. If you want to follow up on this at home, you might want to do something like take a tape measure around. You can measure the average height of the people living in your home. Particularly good if you've got younger brothers and sisters, because they will change the average. You might want to take a look at people's shoes, get the average shoe size as well, and that's how you can follow up on that.